Mr. John, let's get to tax reform. Does it have a chance? Is it just going to be another for a conservative like me, for a conservative like you? Is it just going to be another exercise in futility?
Well, if I have anything to do with it, it won't be. I was sent to Washington to get something done, and I joined the president in being frustrated with the progress that we've made so far. We have made more progress than many members of the national media will give us credit for, but on the two big issues, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, health care and tax reform. We've lost twice on one of them, and the jury's out on the other one.
This tax reform sets three tax brackets, 12%, 25%, and 35%. The bulk of us are going to fall in that 25% bracket, I assume, and many of us are now paying like 30% or so. So it's a tax cut for the majority of Americans. Accurate?
Yes, and let me make a couple points first. We have received an outline from the White House. It's only an outline. It's about 8 pages. I've read it, 10 times. The bill has not been written yet. The details matter on tax reform. That's number one. I will tell you what I'm advocating for. My first priority is higher take-home pay from ordinary people. I'm talking about people couples who make less than $100,000 a year. It doesn't have to be complicated. Here's what we do. Double the standard deduction. About 70% of American taxpayers don't itemize. They just take the standard deduction.
Mm-hmm.
Of that 70% who currently take the standard deduction, 84%, the vast majority, make less than $100,000 a year. So if you want to help ordinary people, working families, the middle class, double the standard deduction. I'll give you an example. Couple making $70,000 a year. They filed jointly. They currently take the standard deduction. After taking the current standard deduction, they pay about $3,500 in federal income tax. Now, they pay a lot of other taxes, but that's federal income tax. If you double the standard deduction, they would only pay roughly $1,700. So they have, you can do the math. They'll have anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 extra in take-home pay. They can use that money to make a down payment on a car, to pay their kids' tuition, to save for retirement, to buy a lawnmower. That will have a huge impact on the American economy because 70% of our economy is consumer-driven. Our economy, it runs off us buying things from each other, goods and services. We're not like China that makes its money by selling things to other countries. We have a robust export market, but we're primarily consumer-driven.
Senator, the upper echelon, and you're going to hear this criticism, right now the top tax bracket's 39.6 for the super rich. This would give the super rich a tax break, and that's what the Democrats are screaming about.
That's what the Democrats are going to always scream about, whether it's true or not. But just because they say it doesn't make it true. They may even believe it.
Would some at the upper tax brackets be paying less?
Yes, everybody's going to get a tax break.
But the lower tax rate at 10% right now, those folks would pay more. Is that accurate?
No, it is not accurate.
Okay.
It is absolutely not accurate. This if we do this right, this will mean tax relief for just about every American, and it will mean tax relief for every business, not just large C corporations, but the small businesses who organize through what we call pass-through, sub-S corporations, LLCs, LLPs. I don't believe in making tax policy on the basis of class. The people at the top pay most of the taxes. So I think it's fair that they get some tax relief. My objective is to make sure that everybody gets some tax relief, fair, even-handed tax relief, starting with, but not limited to, ordinary people. The Democrats are going to say there's nothing we can do. They have white-hot hatred for President Trump. And it doesn't matter what he proposes or what the Republican Senate proposes. They are going to criticize it, even if they have to make things up.
Pardon me, John, but what the Democrats say and what the Democrats object to theoretically shouldn't matter. What it's really going to come down to, isn't it, like health care, where the McCains or the Murkowskis or the Collins, the Republicans, are going to be the ones to kill the Republican bill?
You make a great point. We will get no Democratic votes. Now, if we get to 50 votes where we can pass the bill, you may see 3 or 4 Democrats who are up for re-election jump on the bandwagon. But no Democrat will give us the 50th vote that we need. So this is something we'll have to work out in our own Republican caucus.
There are no Democrats that want to help us, the middle class?
No, they will not do it. They will not vote for this bill. Now, if we get to 50 votes, you may have a couple of Democrats that just jump on board because they want to go back home and say they cut taxes. But if we're at 49 votes and we need one more, there's no way we will get a Democrat because of their hatred for Donald Trump. I can just tell you that's just a fact. Some members of the national media will talk about bipartisanship. I wish it were true, Erin, but it's a bunch of nonsense. Within the Republican caucus, we have 52 Republicans. There's an ideological divide among 3 or 4 of them. I mean, we can pretty much, on major legislations, always guarantee roughly 48 votes. But it takes 50 with the vice president voting to pass a bill that we do through reconciliation. And that's just a fact. I don't know what to do about it except try to reason with them. You can't put a gun to somebody's head and say, change your vote. It's pretty well known who these folks are. I'm hoping we can convince Senator McCain, who is a good man, but I disagree with him on his votes on health care, but I'm hoping we can convince him. I'm hoping we can convince Senator Collins from Maine and some of the others who have been repeatedly voting against the majority on health care.